Tonight, national security chiefs in race against time to broker peace in Bawku before December 7 elections as they explore emergency measures to locate and remove rival chief from conflict-ravaged town that has seen 16 people killed in the latest eruption in violence.
We cannot afford a long dragging out of this conflict into the election period. So you don't want Bawku matter to drag for too long. The gentleman Abagri Sedu must know that his very presence is the reason for all these things. How he found himself there, he should find himself out. And that's what I'm expecting him to do. We have to find a way for him to leave the place.
We'll tell you why the Chieftaincy Minister is ruling out a declaration of a state of emergency in Bawku. And Top Story is always brought to you by Telecel, connecting energies and holding insecticide spray and coil. Enjoy a holy sleep. The national security chiefs are tonight in the race against time to broker peace in a conflict-ravaged Upper East regional town of Bawku before the December 7 elections. Tonight, the country's security chiefs are exploring emergency measures to locate and remove from Bawku the rival chief whose presence they blame for the latest eruption in violence that has so far claimed 16 lives. Chieftaincy Minister Stephen Asamoah says this is part of strategies to restore peace in the area. It was a bloodbath over the weekend when the opposing faction in the conflict set up a roadblock on the Bawku-Wale stretch that led to the death of the 16 people. Speaking to the media in Accra today, the Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs Minister cautioned against politicizing the conflict and stoking tensions ahead of the elections.
Government is guided by its responsibility to protect lives and property, and above all, to enforce law and order, to restore normalcy as quickly as possible. We have taken notice of the interpretations, or should I say misinterpretations, that are being given by the various factions in this matter, that sometimes seeks to inflame passions and designed to escalate the situation. In a way, I sense some level of mistrust that has crept in since last week, but I want to assure all sides that the trust you have had in myself, especially as your minister responsible for chieftaincy matters and with the government, must be maintained. Government, through my ministry and that of my colleagues and institutions, will keep listening to you and act with impartiality and in a fair manner to build and maintain the peace in Bawku and its environs, as well as any other part of the country. I will employ all sides to stop the conspiracy theories going around, the blame games, and keep calm to allow government to deal with the security and the chieftaincy issues thereof. No one should play politics with this sensitive matter. I will continue to engage my colleagues in the political arena from all sides to work with government to resolve the current problems and to work towards lasting peace in the area. I strongly call on the traditional leaders too, from both sides, to refrain from any acts that would escalate the situation. I wish to call on all sides to lay down their arms and cease firing at each other. In this regard, I wish to reiterate our press release yesterday, and I quote, "Government is committed to taking all necessary measures to ensure the safety and security of the people of Bawku and its environs. Security agencies have been directed to enforce strictly the curfew and maintain law and order. Residents are therefore urged to comply with the directive and to cooperate fully with the security agencies to restore peace and normalcy in the area.
Mami Nyamicha Thompson was there for us and joins us in the studio. Mami, the government is rolling out a raft of measures to try and deal with this, also because of the impending elections. We know that one of the measures you're rolling out is getting the Asantehene to enhance that engagement that they've been on for a while now. Tell us more.
So indeed, Evans, as you rightly said, the Asantehene has been at the helm of these negotiations, ensuring that both sides come to some form of understanding or agreement. We already know that the Asantehene has been leading these talks between the factions for quite some time now, and it's in this same role that he's pushing for the two to come to some understanding. And so the minister, Stephen Asamoah Boateng, tells us that that is what he's been trying to do, and he's not been to the area yet. However, he's been in calls to both factions to ensure that there's some peace in Bawku.
We need the leaders of the traditional authorities, both in the Bawku area and outside, because I know there are others talking to the parties. For instance, I know Yana, I've been to him, I've asked him always to step in if there's an issue. I know Yebonra, others step in. But Otumfo has been given the responsibility overall, and he's been fantastic so far. I've been on the line with him almost every time. And behind the scenes, this matter will be resolved quicker than we expect. And they are very cooperative. Some of them takes a while to come around, but in a conflict situation, that's what you expect. Not everybody thinks the same as you do.
So he's very hopeful that this will be resolved very quickly, but they have one challenge, finding and removing from Bawku the rival chief. And today they were very clear, the minister was very clear that his presence in Bawku sparked the latest eruption that had led to 16 lives lost.
Indeed. And this particular rival chief, Seydou Abagri, according to the minister, don't even know how he even got into the town. In fact, they are concerned how he's been able to exacerbate the tensions in Bawku as at now. But then he tells us that the security chiefs in the region are currently working to remove him from Bawku.
A state of emergency mentioned anywhere to me. We've thought about it, me and some few, but it wasn't on the agenda. We had a meeting yesterday, the Security Council, and that wasn't on the table. And indeed, there's no need for it now because the situation is under control now. The curfew, which was imposed yesterday, has yielded results, and so far, Bawku and its environs are quiet. So the situation evolves almost every day, but I believe that we have achieved the success of quietness, stopping of the gunfire, and what we need to do is to find a way that the gentleman Abagri Seydou must know that his very presence is the reason for all these things. So if I were him, I would advise myself that, look, for peace to reign, fine, I've come to see my people and they're okay, whether you are the chief or not, that's not subject to my debate now. What is important is the security aspect of his presence. And once that we can tackle that solves it. You don't need a state of emergency to let him move. How he found himself there, he should find himself out. And that's what I'm expecting him to do. So anybody whose presence creates unrest, it doesn't matter who he is.
Right.
We have to find a way for him to leave the place.
And Mami, today we got clarity on how many people died exactly following the eruption over the weekend. The minister clarified that it is 16.
Indeed, 16. He tells us that's the official figure they have received from the security agencies, that 16 lives have been lost in recent clashes.
And then we also got the timelines the state is working with in the attempt to resolve this immediately. They want to finish and get some peace in Bawku, Brokaid, before the elections?
Yes, and the election is a crucial moment, according to the Chieftaincy Minister. They're trying as much as possible to ensure that this thing doesn't go beyond or reach the elections, because it's a crucial time for the country. And also, you remember there's some issues with border security in that area. The spillover of the insurgents from the other regions coming into Ghana. We don't know the situation yet, but the minister is saying they are playing it carefully. They're playing a careful game to ensure that does not exacerbate the situation at the border.
We cannot afford a long dragging out of this conflict into the election period. Don't forget that election itself brings tension anyway, and so you don't want to add the Bawku matter to it, so we better deal with it quickly. Don't also forget that we also have the little matter of our northern border. It's not a little matter, it's a big matter, but that's also something we keep an eye on. So you don't want Bawku matter to drag for too long. And both factions are aware of this. They are aware of the election implications. They are aware of the attempt by the jihadists in the Burkina Faso end. So when we talk to them, they are all conscious of the sanctity of our boundaries and our borders, and also the peace and security and how we live together. So we're achieving something. It's just that the presence of one man is creating us problems. And we have reached out, and we hope that sanity will prevail and that normalcy can return. But as I said earlier, it's not time for blame games. It's not time for political ping pong. Nobody benefits on the state of a curfew. It doesn't give advantage to anybody. I mean, the parties are not what we are discussing now. It's government effort, and government is for all of us. And I can tell you, nobody has taken any sides in any of the matters. I deal with, even-handed with all of them. I call the Mampusis on my own. I call the Kusasis. I call some of the Bisas. There are other tribal groups there that also are involved in a way that we need to get them to talk. And that's my job. My job is to make sure that we are all talking, and that peace is the fundamental issue we are discussing.
Talking about peace, in the last couple of hours, the National Peace Council, they've issued a statement on this. We know that their men have been unable to enter into Bawku as part of a peace mission there, but they have a statement nonetheless targeted at the people on the ground in Bawku.
Yes, Evans, this is signed by the Regional Peace Council chairman of the Apawu region, Alhaji Sumaila Isaka. He signed this, and they are unhappy. They are sad that we would have to come back to talk about Bawku again. They said they didn't expect this because the larger part of the year has been calm in the area, only for this incident to happen on the 24th of October to date. What they're saying is encouraging the two factions involved in this to embrace peace as we continue, as the stakeholders continue to negotiate in all of this, encouraging the security personnel deployed to the area to also stay professional in their work and make sure that calm is restored to the place. They express worry that this is happening at a time we are approaching elections, which shouldn't have been the case. Reason why everybody who is concerned in this matter must come on board to make sure that it is resolved before we get into the December and closer to the election.
And that there's a very important point that the Peace Council is making. I want to bring in right now Professor Kwesi Yening, a security consultant, joins us on the line right now. Isaku Somolaki is the MC for West Mamprusi. As of yesterday, they were still in meetings trying to find a lasting solution to this, in addition to the additional deployment of military and police to that area. Professor Yening, thanks for your time here on Top Story. Today, the Chieftaincy Minister was asked a question about the imposition of a state of emergency. He says there's no need for it now. He's confident that they can bring some resolution to the latest eruption very, very quickly. Do you share in his optimism?
Yes, of course. I share the optimism of the Chieftaincy Minister.
I want to bring in Professor Kwesi first. Isaku, please stay with me briefly. Let me get Professor Kwesi thoughts on this. Hello, Prof. Hello, Prof. Hello, Professor Aining. Okay, I may have lost him though on the line, but I still have with me Isaku Somolaki. He's the MC for West Mamprusi. Professor Aining, can you hear me, please? Okay. Isaku Lucky, you were responding to that question, though, and you've been on the ground working with the Regional Security Council together, trying to bring some solution to this conflict there that has erupted again over the weekend, leading to the loss of 16 lives. You say you share in that optimism. Why?
Yes, thank you very much for the opportunity, and then I greet all your listeners. I want to say that for now, the way the issue is being reported, there have now been some little calm, if I would not say that a control calm, because now things are moving on well without any problem. If you look at what is happening in our down and things are moving well. In fact, I want to use this opportunity to thank the Ghana Police Service and the military for their intervention, and then the way and manner in which other stakeholders, including government, especially the Minister for Interior and then the Minister for Defense, and how the Regional Security Council and the Municipal Security Council have come together to work on this. For now, there's absolute peace, and there's no need for any panic. What we just need to do is to at least up our games and look at what we can do to make sure that we curtail this issue. This is a problem between two major tribes, and if we are able to engage them in a good manner, I think there's the way for us with a solution to the problem.
And
the minister.
The minister, yes, the minister also today made a point about locating and removing that rival chief. And today he was clear that it was his return to the Bawku township that led to the latest eruption. That's the rival chief Abagri. Do you agree that locating and removing him is one of the surest way of getting peace back in Bawku?
I think more consultations have to be done. You know, when issues of this nature happen and you take a panic decisions, it sometimes affects the long-term solution to the problem. I would say that I'm not disagreeing with him, but what I can say is that we should rather do more consultations further to look at what do they call, how we can resolve the issue. We may try to do something and further aggravate the situation. As we speak, the issue is in a way contained by the security forces. And any additional thing that we may do that may cause more harm than good, I think we need to avoid it.
We're finding.
We should rather do more engagement.
Yeah, you said that, but we're finding.
Yes.
Isaku, but we're finding Abagri, the rival chief, and removing him from Bawku aggravate the situation, or will it lead to peace?
I am saying this because I'm not a security expert, but I am bringing something from being somebody who is also a head of security agencies. Security Council, and what we also look at. We may have to look at removing him may not solve the problem completely. Let us look at what we can do to have a long-lasting solution to the matter. What we are doing now is that let's first of all make sure that sanity and calm return back to Bawku, and then it has exploded to the northeast region. And sometimes what we are talking about, we are looking at the effect of that one from Bawku to the northeast region. That is our concern. So if the government wants to take a decision, we all embrace it and we support, because we are the agents of the government and we have to work on behalf of the president. So we can come together, look at what we can do holistically so that we can get solution to the issue. Otherwise, if we take any decision a panic decision that may haunt us in the future may not be good.
Just for clarity, Isaku, just for clarity.
People are reading different meanings to it.
Yes, and the minister made the point that they now want to resolve this, broker some peace before the elections, but you are on the ground. And you've repeated the point again that the state and the government do not want to take a step right now that will lead to an escalation, right? And it comes back to the question, because the minister was clear that the objective now is tracking down and removing Abagri from that particular area. Do you support that move?
I cannot say I support or do not support, because he is the minister and he has more intelligence than I do. But what I look at is what is happening within our environment. And I am saying that I will advise that the minister do more consultations, and then we'll look at it and then see how best we can do it without any problem and without any contradiction. But for me to say I support that or not, I'm not in that position to support or disagree. Because he's my boss and he's a minister. But that doesn't mean that they should not also take advice from the ground. Because we are more on the ground, especially at the northeast part of the issue. I am not in Bawku, and I don't know what is happening in Bawku, but I know what is happening within my environment, and I know what can happen and what cannot happen. If we look at it from that angle, I think we can solve the problem amicably. I think that this is not an issue that that should haunt us for long. It is something that we can solve if we are able to put all our acts together, and then we will see how best we can get a solution to the issue.
Isaku Somo Lucky, thank you very much. Professor Kwesieni, I lost him earlier. He's on now. Prof, thank you very much for staying on with me. The minister today had indicated the path to peace, ending what has happened recently, the eruption in violence that had led to the killing of 16 people. One of the solutions he placed on the table is finding and removing this rival chief whose return, he says, led to the latest eruption. You've just heard the MCE, of course, he chairs the Municipal Security Council for West Mamprusi, an area also affected by the latest eruption, say consult more rather than focus on finding and removing him. What do you say based on your own understanding of what is happening in Bawku recently?
No, I think all of them are just dancing around the hot pot and not tackling it the way it should. When the minister ties the resolution of the conflict to the elections, then even when we remove this rival chief, he will bid his time after the elections. I think the minister has made an unforgivable, fundamental mistake in giving a timeline. We've got to solve them before the election. That is fundamentally a disastrous suggestion, the calculus that the different parties to the conflict are going. Jihadists are not interested in exploiting the Boko Haram. So let us not pussyfoot and start looking for excuses that may not exist right now. Removing this chief will send a clear signal about the effectiveness of the Ghanaian state in stamping its authority and indicating that there cannot be rivals that challenge its authority. I like the point about the Northeast from the MC, that he also knows that the Northeast has been boiling for a long time, and his office did not play that effective role as far back as 2022. We know earlier this year or late last year, there was a decision by this rival chief to move to Bawku, and the state of Ghana waited until the 11th hour. And they realized the suspicion from the general public that there's a lack of political will in showing the state's authority in managing this conflict. I am far from convinced from the minister's argument recently, but also from the MP's argument. This conflict is going to continue to expand. Bawku right now is a ghost town, as it has been described. And ghost towns are a prelude to even more violence. Okay? I think the minister must grab the bull by the horn and say, this is where the problem is. We cannot have two rival chiefs. We cannot allow the authority of the state to be challenged, because we know that they are small and simple. They get into it. The people that they are willing and ready to use it. Prior to this conflict, Bawku was already a divided town, an uneasy town, 2 markets, 2 lorry parks. That is not the way that peace must prevail. But even for both the minister and the MC, there seems to be a fairly naive perception that peace is a common good, that everyone wants peace. It doesn't work that way. We need hard calculus to say who are those who are benefiting from this violence, who are those who are the entrepreneurs of violence, and be bold enough to isolate them and to use the law. Okay? This pussyfooting and looking for excuses, I'm sorry, you and I will be having this argument or this conversation next year by now.
And when the minister narrows down the current problem to the return of this rival chief, is he right in his diagnosis of the problem?
That is 1/20th of the diagnosis. Prior to this rival chief arriving in Bawku on the 24th, the town was a divided town. The small arms were flowing. Fertilizer, soya bean, fuel were being smuggled and people were making profits. Okay? The disaggregation of those who benefit from the crisis in Bawku. And please, let's stop using the word tribe. Because by saying that, you even compound for the problem. Because you are tapping into these whole racist, descriptions of us as being violent. That is not right. Okay? Those who are in the Bawku crisis are much more complex than just the Mampus and the Kusas. Okay? And I think for those who speak on behalf of the state, and for the MCE claiming the minister might have more intelligence and therefore blah, 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 he, the MCE, knows that when he holds that Security Council, he is privy to all the sensitive information in his area. He can escalate it to the regional minister. And definitely in seeking to resolve the crisis, there is a reverse communication law which is giving the information also from Accra to be able to respond. So we shouldn't keep on shunting responsibility to decide and to take firm action to somebody else. As individuals, and as individuals in public authority, we have the responsibility to ensure that we make the appropriate decisions to bring about the peace, development, and stability that people are looking. Putting and shunting the decision to other people will not solve this problem.
Thank you very much, Professor Kwesieni, the security consultant. And as you've been hearing, the National Peace Council has issued a statement today. Ali Anakpian is the Upper East Regional Executive Secretary of the Peace Council, joins us right now on the line. Ali, thanks for your time. Have you managed now to send a delegation, a peace mission into Bawku?
Not yet. If you listen very well, the place is still volatile, so we haven't been able to go there yet.
Are there plans for this to happen sometime later?
Yeah, definitely. We are engaging with the Bawku Inter-Ethnic Peace Committee and other partners to see how we can engage on the issue.
What support are you seeking from the security agencies to help you reach out to the people on the ground?
For now, we are expecting that they are able to maintain calm in the place to enable us to be able to visit there. That's what we expect them and the kind of assistance we need.
We've heard tonight from the Chieftaincy Minister that Donkor himself is now stepping up the efforts to use back channels through the chieftaincy arrangement there to get the parties to sit and talk and smoke the peace pipe. Is the Peace Council involved in the process, and what can you tell us about how much progress you're making?
For as far as Donkor's level is concerned, if there's anything, it should be with our national board. But we know some progress was made, but it's stalled. And now that they are beginning to re-engage, I think that is the right way to go.
Thank you very much. And that there is Ali Anakpiam, is the Upper East Regional Executive Secretary of the Peace Council. Are you in Bawku tonight? I want to hear from you. 05511111997. News Night starts right now.
Less than 24 hours to the Joy News Habitat Fair. It's also 39 days to the 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections. Hashtag Stop Galamsey Now, so on. Good evening and welcome to News Night. Tonight, opposition NDC says it does not expect its position on the ballot paper to change following the death of GFP presidential candidate Akua Donkor, with suggestions the EC may have to reopen nominations.
Ballot papers have been printed and nothing can be done about it. What will happen is that the Electoral Commission will go ahead, instruct their presiding officers to get a ball pen and cancel Akua Donkor pictures on it.
We have details as the Electoral Commission waits to be officially informed about the death of Madam Akua Donkor, plus speak to a legal practitioner and get some reaction from the various political parties. Also less than 24 hours after the NDC presidential candidate John Dramani Mahama challenged Dr. Bawumia with 5 key questions. Tonight, he has more questions. Guess what? This time to President Akufo-Addo.
Why is the exchange rate 17 cedis to the dollar? Question 1. Exam, he should come and write. Why has Ghana's debt risen from 120 billion to 767 billion in 8 years?
Details as he demands answers, referencing Dr. Bawumia's 170 queries to Mensah in 2016. Meanwhile, MPP flag bearer Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is focused on his campaign. He's promising tax amnesty for all traders starting 2025.
All taxes owed VRA will be cancelled.
And there's an urgent public alert by the Ghana Health Service, urging people in Greater Accra region to avoid handshakes and stop consuming food from unhygienic sources as it launches intensive community outreach campaign tomorrow to curb the spread of cholera, which has killed 2 persons this month alone.
Yes, we have more than 30 people that are coming in. As at now, we don't know how many.
And in business, Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research kicks against calls by various presidential candidates to scrap betting tax.
And in sports, Ghana set sight for glory in the WAFU Under-20 tournament ahead of the game against Nigeria tomorrow.
And all is set for the grand finale of the most sought-after high school competition, the National Science and Maths Quiz. Which school becomes the champion? Will it be Infansipim School or St. Augustine's College? Or is it time to make way for Keta Senior High Technical School to taste victory for the very first time? But Evans, there will be 2 females on stage tomorrow, the quiz mistress and perpetual Sefako Gakpeto. Tonight, we focus on the only remaining female contestant in this year's NSMQ.
Another girl, this one, she's beyond Laminio. She's called Gakpeto. What she they can do? She's coming to break records.
The Gakpeto phenomenon will be all explained pretty shortly.
I can't wait for that. And of course, we have some data analysis also on who becomes the NSMQ champion for this year. That and more tonight's edition of News Night. You want to join us with your thoughts, your comments is via WhatsApp 055-1111-997. I am Emefa Apawu.
And my name is Evans Mensah. Details after this.
Everybody likes money, but what do we like more than money? More money! Join the Telecel More Money promo and win money, more money, and even more money. Simply opt in for free and reload your mobile and broadband and be the lucky winner of the 1 million Ghana cedis grand prize. Also win cash prizes of up to 3 million Ghana cedis in the daily and weekly draws. Opt in for free by dialing *500# or send WIN to 500, or you can opt in on the Telecel Play app. The more you reload, the higher chances of winning in the Telecel More Money promo. Keep loading, win, and be a millionaire.
Telecel. Connecting energies.
Terms and conditions apply. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform.
Couldn't sleep at night. Mosquitoes will be whining my ears, bugging me all night long. Till I got a remedy. Now I'll be spraying them away with holy insecticide spray. Me I go spray them away with holy insecticide spray. When I sleep, me dana mada with holy insecticide spray.
Holy mosquito coil, holy multi-purpose insecticide spray. Dana kron kron. For bulk purchase, call 0302 681582. This advert is FDA approved.
The Joy Prime Made in Ghana Fair at the Good Park, Akua Mall from Thursday 14th to 17th November 2024, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. each day. Come witness the proud Ghanaian originality, authenticity, and rich culture as we display Ghanaian inventions, locally made clothing, shoes, bags, jewelry, beads, beauty products, Ghanaian music, and many more. This year's fair will be packed with lots of activities and many other surprises. Don't miss out on the fashion show, Cooking Fest, between our favorite audience on Saturday 16th November at 3 p.m. For further inquiries and information, please contact 050-023-8383. Joy Prime Made in Ghana Fair is brought to you by Joy Prime and powered by Hits FM 103.9. Sponsored by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, Syntex Tank, Air Strong, Air Tough, Core Natural, 100% cocoa fruit juice, Ghana Pay Mobile Pay, your money your way, DPS Pipes and Plastics connecting you to life. Media partners, Joy FM, Adum FM, Asempa FM, Ishura FM, and Love FM.
Get ready.
Every objection against you is hereby dismissed.
For Impact 2024 with the Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams, Reverend Dr. Eastwood Anaba, Apostle Joshua Selman, Apostle Isi Igeneba, Bishop Dr. Bernard Ojiri Asari, and Reverend Dr. David Entry, November 24th to December 1st, 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. daily at Action Chapel International Prayer Cathedral, Dominion Arena. For inquiries or bars information, call 059-230-0069.
You're so live here on News 90s on Joy 99.7 FM. Send me a WhatsApp 055-11-11997 now with less than 24 hours for newly admitted senior high school students to report to their various schools. Scores of parents are expressing frustration over the limited time they have to enroll their children. The Ghana Education Service on Tuesday released the school placement, assigning schools to qualified individuals, with students expected to begin reporting to school tomorrow. Some parents are still working to secure placement for their wards. Joy News Collins from Pond was there and has more in this report.
SHS placement has sparked a last-minute rush for thousands of students and parents facing tight reporting deadlines. Out of the 563,339 results received from WAEC, 553,115 students qualified for placement, with 447,698 automatically assigned to schools. The rest must complete self-placement, with those seeking changes urged to finalize by the reporting date. Many parents feeling the pressure of this timeline are calling on GS to consider extending the opening day.
We are in Kumasi, but we had a day school in Accra, so we are here to change the school. How can you release school today and expect us to go to school tomorrow? Yeah.
The placement have delayed a little, and if you ask me,
I will appreciate if they will give us a little time for us to organize ourselves.
We have to change it. We need them to extend the time for us. Don't have getting the form today to going to school tomorrow. Most of the parents cannot afford or cannot send their work to school. So we need it to be extended.
Students are urgently seeking placement adjustments to better suit their needs, while others are working to switch from day schools to options favorable to them. They spoke with Joy News.
The placement came today and our uniforms are not ready, but they are telling us we should report to school tomorrow. So that's how it has come. So we have to go tomorrow.
I'm not ready for school because we just got the results, the BC, the placement. If they can extend the reopening for us.
They gave me a school which is at Kaswa, and they gave me day, and I'm staying at Accra, so I can't be going from.
Meanwhile, Deputy National Coordinator for Free SHS, Nana Afra Seka Mensah, reassured parents to stay calm. According to her, the students can still report to school after the November 30th deadline if needed.
We are spending 30 days over here. They're going to school tomorrow. It's not that they are going to start serious academic work, but it's just the placements that you print. So if you can't go to the school to pick the prospectus, you print everything and then you take it to the school. So it's just registration and then orientation. But serious academic work is not going to start tomorrow. So they shouldn't rush going to school. They should stay smooth. This is a smooth process that we are going. The heads and then the teachers, they are aware that we are not starting any serious academic work tomorrow, but it's just going to be orientation and then registration.
Students are to begin to report to school from tomorrow, November 30, and begin academic activities on November 7.
Sort out your placement today. You go to school tomorrow, but the Education Ministry has been explaining that you have up until 1 week to sort this out. In fact, the placement will continue for 1 whole month. We'll get some further clarity from the Education Ministry pretty shortly. The spokesperson for the ministry will join us, and I know many parents are pretty anxious ahead of the enrollment of the awards in the various schools across the country following the placements, and so we are placing a bit more emphasis on this. We'll get a clarity for you pretty shortly.
But we have some updates on the attack on my colleagues, Irasosasari Donkor and other 3 members right here at the multimedia group during a filming of Galamsey issues and impacts of illegal mining in forest reserves as well. We know that there were some arrests that were made after that particular incident. But Evans, there have been some actions that we've taken after that incident.
Yes, indeed. We have now filed a formal complaint with the National Media Commission demanding action, demanding their cooperation with the security services to arrest and prosecute all the individuals involved in assaulting our colleagues, the NMC. They have acknowledged receipt of our formal complaint. We also know that the police arrested 3 individuals. We are demanding that they are prosecuted, and the rest still on the run are indeed also arrested and prosecuted. The items that were seized are still with the individuals in question, and that's why we are.
It includes drone batteries and SD cards. They've also deleted footage from the equipment, amongst others.
If you haven't paid attention to what really happened, this is Irasosasari Donkor.
At that point, I was really scared because I didn't know what they were going to do. Are they going to shoot us? What are they going to do? So I was asking them, why have you brought us here? You said we're going to see the site owner. Now we are in the bush. So what are we doing here? Then before I could say jag, 2 hot slaps from behind, and they pulled me out. Then they opened the doors, asked everybody to get out.
You had 3 other people with you?
Yeah, the drone pilot, the camera technician, and my driver.
Okay.
Then they started beating us. This one will come, slap you from behind. The other one will come, punch you. They were more than 10.
All armed?
Fully armed. Pump action, rifles, knives. They were dressed like they were bandits. They said we should open our passwords. They want to format our phones. I received a lot of slaps from there, so I had to give in. I said, okay, fine, do what you want with the phone. Yeah, they formatted 2 of the phones. They deleted mine. They were not able to do it, so they deleted the files.
Okay.
Then I went in front of the bus, and it stopped. Then I yelled at the driver that We are journalists. I mentioned my name. We work with multimedia. They are trying to kill us. So help us. Then the driver stopped the vehicle, wanted to get out. Then they surrounded the bus with their guns and asked him to move. So he moved the vehicle. So I think it was at that time that they realized that somebody has gotten to know, so they have to leave. So then they grabbed a bag in my vehicle. It contained drone batteries, headset, tablets, and other things we used to operate the drone. Then they left.
They abandoned you guys there?
Yeah.
In the middle of nowhere, after they were traumatized, beaten, led, bloodied. Defend media freedom hashtag. That's what you need to use, because without us, you will not have a free, fair, transparent elections. Without us, you would have known about the devastation happening across the country in our forest reserves and on water bodies because of Galamsey. That's why we've seen that resurgence in a war against illegal mining. We're still continuing to demand action on behalf of our colleagues who have been left traumatized, beaten, bloodied, and many of them still recovering from the trauma that this caused them. This is News Nighters on Joy 99.7 FM.
Election Headquarters is brought to you by Petrosol Platinum Energy, Energizing Dreams, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants (CIMA) and the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants (AICPA), together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants, German Ozone Medical Center, Alternative Therapy, Dental, Wellness and Beauty, Shopbox Technologies, a convenient service, Youth Bridge Foundation, bridging the gap for positive youth development, and Syntex Tanks. A year strong, a year tough.
And this is indeed your election headquarters. We're hearing from the National Democratic Congress tonight. Emefa, what are they saying on the back of the death of Akua Donkor?
And they say they do not expect that the position, the number 8 position on the ballot paper, would change due to the death of the GFP presidential candidate Akua Donkor. We know that Akua Donkor is number 3 on the ballot paper as it stands now, but following her death, there have been suggestions that the Constitution mandates the Electoral Commission to reopen nominations. We'll get into those details. But with printing of ballot paper underway nationwide already, questions have also been raised or asked as to what will happen if GFP decides to withdraw from the election and its impact on the balloting. We'll hear from the NDC shortly on this. But let me bring in Akua Sante. He is a member of our legal affairs desk, joining us with some details on this. Kwaku, first, let's talk about what the Constitution says about this particular development.
This is Article 54 of the 1992 Constitution, which reads, and I quote, "Where at the close of nomination, but before the election, one of the candidates die, a further period of 10 days shall be allowed for nominations, and where the death occurs at any time within 25 days before the election, that election in that constituency or unit shall be postponed for 21 days. That is the Constitution. Then you look at Section 11.4 of the Representation of the People Law, that is ROPAL 1992, PNDC Law 284. It almost also repeats verbatim what is provided in Article 54 of the 1992 Constitution. It says, where at the close of nomination, but before the election, one of the candidates dies, a further period of 10 days shall be allowed for nomination. That is ROPAL. And then the final law that says something of this sort is Regulation 13.4 of CI 127 that the Electoral Commission is using to conduct this election. It also largely retains the language of the Constitution. It says, and I quote, where at the close of nomination, but before the election, one of the candidates dies, a further period of 10 days shall be allowed for nomination. It continues that where an election is to be held and a candidate dies on the eve of that election and proof of the death of the election of the candidate is given to the returning officer before the commencement of the poll, the returning officer shall put on hold proceedings in relation to the election and inform the commission. So, Emefa, 3 particular laws, starting from the grown itself, the Constitution, ROPAL, statutes, and then a subsidiary legislation, all said, it uses similar language to say that the Electoral Commission shall open nomination. Emefa.
But what are we learning now from the EC? Because it looks like everything now lies in the hands of the EC in terms of what decision you're going to take. We've listened to the law. You've been interacting with the EC, finding out what exactly their plans are going forward. What have they told you?
Well, yes, a senior source at the Electoral Commission told me a while ago that, of course, they've taken notice of all these provisions of the law, but what they want to do is to first wait for the Ghana Freedom Party and the family of Madame Akua Donkor to officially and formally inform them of the death of Madame Akua Donkor. And then if there are subsequent actions to that, they will take. The commission, according to this source, is clear in its mind what exactly it has to do with barely 39 days to the 2024 election.
Well, that's a quick question today, giving us updates on this particular situation. But Evans, we've been hearing from the NDC already.
Yes, we have, and there's jostling already happening over what this will mean for the ballot positions. The NDC says they do not expect that their 8th position on the ballot paper will change, regardless of what the Electoral Commission decides to do. Listen to Dr. Tanko Rashid Computer, who is a Deputy Director of Elections and IT.
Ballot papers have been printed and nothing can be done about it. What will happen is that the Electoral Commission will go ahead and on the election day, I'm pretty sure they will instruct their presiding officers and their assistants to get a ball pen and cancel Akua Donkor pictures on it. Otherwise, anybody who thumbprints on her ballot or her picture or her portion on the ballot paper, such a thumbprint will be considered as a rejected ballot. That is the rule. We apply this severally.
Okay.
This is not the first time we've come across such things. So it has nothing to do with our position on the ballot paper. Nothing will change on it. The rule is very clear, and the law is very clear about that.
Well, so that's Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer, Deputy Director of Elections and IT for the NDC, already insisting that the position number 8 should remain the same. But let me bring in Samson Ladia on this. Let's get some education on this particular matter. Well, giving your reading of the Constitution and these other relevant rules, we've been talking about the CI, what exactly would you say should happen next according to law?
Well, I think the constitutional provision 54, if you look at the representation of the people's law, and then the CI regulating the conduct of elections by way of procedure, which is mandated also by the Constitution, it's rather very clear that until the contrary is shown, they are supposed to be offered a period of 10 days to provide a replacement candidate if they so desire.
Well, but there's a question as to whether or not the nominations, even if reopened, should be limited only to GFP, that's Madam Akua Donkor's party, or should it be opened again entirely to the public, given how Article 54 is structured?
From my reading of the provision, it is limited to the party that is affected or the individual that is affected. It says that affected entity should be given the 10-day period to be able to provide for a replacement. I don't think it admits of any other interpretation.
But 54, does it reduce it to the party itself, like you'd say?
It is for the affected, if you like, candidate. The candidate that has died, that is being offered the extra period to provide a replacement candidate.
But so for the avoidance of doubt, maybe just reading that 54, where are the close of nominations, but before the election, one of the candidates dies, a further period of 10 days shall be allowed for nominations. And where the death occurs at any time within 25 days before the election in that constituency, so this one is for constituency, shall be postponed for 21 days. So that's what exactly you're saying, right?
Yes, and the Constitution mandates the promulgation of a CI to further provide for the procedure. And the representation of the people law, first, as in at 287, 284, is the act that provides further fledge. But the Constitution says the EC shall promulgate a CI. And if you read the language of the CI in Regulation 13, it says contested election and death of a candidate. Death of a candidate. Then when you read, it's plain on the face that where at the close of nominations and after the end of the further period of 10 days under sub-regulation 2, only one candidate stands nominated, an election shall not be conducted, and that candidate shall be elected, declared as elected. So where there's a situation where it happens where there's only one person, then the person is allowed to go unopposed without even an election. There will be a declaration. Then that's where the first 10-day window is provided. So when you read 4, then it says, where at the close of nominations, but before the election, one of the candidates dies, a further period of 10 days shall be allowed for nominations. So that further period, by my reading, it's what is allowed for the one to whom the loss has occasioned, so that they can have a replacement candidate.
But just for clarity again, the EC then does not have any discretion in this matter, given that the operative word in the Constitution is a shall, right?
Exactly so.
Okay. We are grateful. But we've been hearing...
Unless a contrary superior provision is pointed to us, the Constitution is supreme. Okay. And you find that in the other subsidiary, in the Act and the CI, they simply repeat the language of the Constitution.
Okay. And finally, the NDC seemed to suggest, at least from what we heard from Dr. Tanko Computer, is that given that ballot papers have been printed already or being printed, all the EC will have to do is to just direct its officials to cancel the name of the candidate on the election day. That's Akua Donkor. Is that a right reading of the law?
I doubt very much. I think the law is plain. It's written in English. We don't need to over-loyalize it. It's plain English. What has to be done has been dictated. That ought to be done. And if a replacement candidate is provided, that replacement candidate ought to be on the ballot.
Okay. We are grateful. That's Samson Ladi Anyenini there, providing some education and reading of this particular constitution provision, and then also the CI on this particular matter. Already we've seen some ballot papers going around with the numbers changing amongst others.
And the ball is back in the court of Akua Donkor's party if they would want to take up that right of theirs.
But that's why she has a running mate, right?
Exactly. I mean, it's so you would expect, if indeed their constitution dictates that individual then gets onto the ballot. If the nomination is open for them for 10 days, they can now put in formally and then gets onto that ballot. That shouldn't affect much. But the question then becomes, if they decide, say, because they've lost their presidential candidate out of respect and reverence and to mourn, they may want to opt out. Then the EC will have to tell us what will happen. Will they change the balloting positions? Because then the numbers drop from 13 to 12.
Yes.
And will NDC still keep their 8th position on the ballot? We don't know. The EC has told us that they're yet to receive a formal communication notifying them of the passing of Akua Donkor. And so when they get that, they will clarify that position for us. But today, tributes have been pouring in for Akua Donkor. We've been hearing from the presidential candidate of the LPG, Kofi Apawu, who says the death of Madam Akua Donkor is a painful one, but wants her life to inspire young Ghanaian women.
Yeah, it's very, very painful. I least expected that she's going to pass on now, but it has happened. So we have to take it like that. But this woman is an inspiration. This woman, to me, she's something that we should study. We should have it in our history books, and then we should allow our kids to learn from her, because she inspires a lot. Looking at her background, we all know our educational background was very least, and this will give our young women something to aspire to be like. Somebody who could not go to school wanted to be the head of this country, and now we should give the young people hope that they too they can believe in themselves, that if this woman have attained this, we too we can do it. Or if this woman was aspiring to be this, then we too can also do better. So you have no excuse if you are a young person to fail. You have no excuse to fail. So that's why I'm saying that she should be somebody that we should study in our schools. If it has happened in other jurisdiction, we are not going to take it light. We would have taken it serious, you know. So it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that she has passed on, but what can we do? It's part of nature.
And that there's Ms. Apawu. Of course, this is a woman. You remember they were all in the room the last time at the Electoral Commission when the Electoral Commission was presenting the facts around the voters' register and what has happened. And she was on her feet challenging the NDC and questioning why they've been attacking Mensah. I remember. We'll be telling you a bit more.
And the very final IPAC meeting where she threatened to sue former President John Dramani Mahama. We have a whole report on that. We'll bring that to you.
Stay with us for that. Let's return to that very important story about the school placement and the reopening of schools across the country. And I know many of you have questions. Parents have sent us a lot of the questions already. Many of you today told us of your frustration going to check out the placement for your ward, but also expected to enroll them from tomorrow, and you are anxious about it. Guess what? We have in the studio with us the spokesperson for the Education Ministry, Mr. Kwating, joins us. Mr. Kwating, thanks for the time here on Newsnight.
Yeah, thank you, and a very good evening, Evans.
For parents who are anxious tonight, they spoke to us saying, well, confirming the placement today, picking up the forms, the prospectus, and expected to go back to school and get their awards in tomorrow, too short a notice. Clarify for us, is that mandatory that they have to do this within 24 hours?
Well, I think it's important to lay a very fundamental foundation. And that has to do with, if you recall, post-COVID, particularly referring to the year 2020, we had, within the pre-tertiary space, students not going to school for almost a year. And that had a consequential impact on the academic calendar. And of course, the Ghana Education Service, together with the Ghana TVET Service, has been making steps to be able to make sure that they reverse the calendar back to the old normal that we had. And so, if you care to know, you will realize that even in terms of WASI, which used to be written in May, June, just this year we wrote it around August, September. And that also means that, for instance, if you look at when students have to also take up the admission in the university, that will also have an impact. Previously it was September, but now we are doing around December. Even some universities also takes up the admission in January, especially where even if you look at even international admission, it also has an impact, because by the time they get their YC results, most of the international schools abroad and elsewhere would have also closed up the admission. So we as a ministry, of course, together with GES and Ghana Education Service, has been taking steps to be able to make sure that we reverse the calendar back to the old normal that we used to know. But of course, we are also mindful of putting in some cushion measures so that parents and students do not suffer unduly. And so it is even the more reason why from last year we started with the introduction of the comprehensive and harmonized national prospectus. Ordinarily, parents will have to travel to schools where their students or their children are placed, sometimes even sleep over, get the prospectus, come back home before they're able to prepare and go and begin registration process. But with the introduction of the harmonized prospectus, the expectation is that it reduces the preparation days by maybe 7 to 10 days. And even beyond that, what we are also saying is that if you go to school on the 30th of this month, which happens to be tomorrow, it is not necessarily mandatory. What we are saying is that we are encouraging all students to go begin registration process, also go through the processes of orientation, and then acclimatize and abreast themselves and wait till the 7th of November before they begin full academic activities.
But it's simply impossible, is it not? For as a parent to get a placement today and enroll tomorrow. That is just not realistic.
That's
even though you're encouraging them, they have some latitude. It's still not possible, considering all the things you have to buy. Some of them have to travel. It's just not fair on parents.
Yeah, I mean, Evans, if you look at for instance, the harmonized prospectus, it was released to the public or within the public space even ahead of the placement release. So it is something that, I mean, the natural expectation was that parents are already privy to, and some manner of preparation had already begun. But of course, that is also not necessarily to run down, I mean, the concerns of parents. It is the more reason why we are saying that this time around, if you go on 30th, we are not necessarily going to begin full academic activities. What we are going to do is registration process. And of course, that flexibility is also there, that if you are unable to go on 30th, you can't go, for instance, 31st or the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, even up to 7th. I mean, there could even be genuine instances where people could even go beyond the 7th. But, I mean, in these cases, you are working with human beings, so there's also a bit of flexibility and human interface attached to it. So the assurance to parents is that even if your ward is unable to be in school on the 30th or 1st or even the 2nd, you do not lose your placement. Your placement will still be, assigned to you, and at every point where you are ready, you go to school, then begin full academic activities. Just that for us in the Ministry of Education, we believe that it will be more safer, particularly if you look at the overall aim of trying to realign the academic calendar to be able to fix or reverse back to the old normal that we had. Because, see, one thing that we are also mixing is that if you look at the academic calendar, particularly with what we are having now, it even has a very, I mean, in terms of even economic implications on the country. Because at the end of the day, if you look at our association with the WAEC community, what happens is that because we are writing our exams in August, September, WAEC will have to organize separate exams for Ghana alone, and that also comes with cost because they have to do different printing, they have to, gather examiners and set different set of questions for us. So it is a matter of necessity. But of course, we are.
Explain to me, since you mentioned ECOWAS, the other ECOWAS countries, WAEC, the West African region, other WAEC countries also had to deal with COVID. But from what you're explaining, it appears that they've managed to realign their academic calendars to what used to be, and Ghana seemed not to have done that yet.
No, I think if I recall, a lot of them did not even write the 2020. It is only Ghana who took the race and wrote the WASI.
They seem to have aligned theirs completely.
No, because they did not write the WASI in 2020. If my memory serves me right, I'll have to confirm. But on the face, I recall that they did not write the WASI that particular year. It is only Ghana who took the initiative to write it, but we did not write it in May, June. So that is what shifted our calendar. So we took a bold step, wrote the WASI, and that has also impacted us in this way, but they did not write.
But for parents listening to us tonight, they have up until what, the 7th of November?
Yeah, they have up till the 7th of November to, get their case ready or their awards ready to go through registration process and orientation. So it is not as though, when they go on the 30th of, which happens to be tomorrow, they will lose their placements. No, They have at least a week to prepare and go up to the 7th of November.
Thank you very much for joining us, giving the clarity to parents. So listening to News Night is on Joy 99.7 FM. We'll do business now, and Mr. Shen is here with the latest. Hello, James.
Hi, Evans. Coming up in business this evening, Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research is a case against calls by various presidential candidates to scrap betting tax, and Private Enterprise Federation lament macroeconomic gains touted by government not reflecting in cost of doing business in Ghana. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business, Kingdom Books and Stationery, Syntex Tanks, and Pepsodent Charcoal and Herbal.
The other day, I visited Kwaku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. You can have it all.
Sharp! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh page and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information. We are good together everywhere you go.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kindle Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHS, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
We have a new leader in town. OBRNT. Amafo. Madam was Sibebre. When him say my baby, maybe more charcoal for whiter teeth. More charcoal. Not only that, maybe lemon. More lemon. Zinc for fresher breath. More zinc. And fluoride for stronger teeth.
Introducing the new President Charcoal Pack with more power with a combination of charcoal and lemon for naturally whiter teeth. Grab yours now. This advert is FDA approved.
From the classroom to the lab, from the village to the city, the NPP's commitment to education is building a brighter Ghana. Free SHS isn't just about free tuition, it's an investment in Ghana's future. We have topped it up with free TVET and STEM education, skilled graduates, innovative thinkers, and a thriving economy. That's the promise of free SHS.
3 of my cousins have benefited from free SHS since 2017. One has graduated and is in nursing training. The other 2 are also in the university. I'll vote number 1. I'll vote for Bawumia on December 7th.
We are building a better tomorrow through education. Vote NPP. Vote number 1. Vote Bawumia. Bawumia means business. Esro.
Imagine having access to top-notch educational resources, no matter your grade of school or location in Ghana. With the Ghana Knowledge and Skills Bank, you can tap into a vast library of resources, even in offline mode. From primary all the way to tertiary education, we've got you covered. As a student, you have access to past questions from 1990 to date for BEC, WASI, and tertiary test examinations. As a teacher or lecturer, you can hold virtual classes for your students and share your lecture notes for their use. As an educator or researcher, you can publish your books or articles for public consumption. And lastly, you have your own studies teacher or AI tutor who is trained to teach you in any subject topic till you fully understand. So whether you're a student, educator, content creator, researcher, or entrepreneur, the Ghana Knowledge and Skills Bank was made just for you. Sign up today at www.gksb.gov.gh. The Ghana Knowledge and Skills Bank, where learning has no limits and the possibilities are endless. This project was financed by the World Bank under the erstwhile e-Transform project at the Ministry of Communications and Digitalization.
The luckiest.
Star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere. For everyone, yeah.
Welcome and now for a daily star 712 hash and found no regrets. A Sankoma investors are a striking gold. A Sankoma health workers are a diagnosing luck with precision. A Sankoma that tough guy who couldn't hold back his tears. Say a Sankoma passionate fan also entering containing a joy. Afraid to the stressor or turning a hard-earned stitches into a bundle of happiness. And now, a Sankoma, if you say your next big win is right here.
Star 712 hash. Luck is everywhere.
Dial star 712 hash and join the luckiest winning celebration. From the 1st of July 2024, dial star 712 hash to keep buying tickets as a group, individual, or even as a community. Win loads of cash and prizes in the community draw or go for the grand draw on the 30th of November 2024. Unlock your luck with star 712 hash. Join the winning streak now.
The luckiest.
Star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere, for everyone, yeah. The luckiest.
Welcome back to Business on Newsnight. I am James Eshan. We settle for the details. First off, the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research is kicking against the abolishment of betting tax. ISA warns scrapping the tax could seriously affect Ghana's IMF program. The director of the Institute, Professor Peter Cortes, said there should be some transparency in the funds mobilized from the tax handle. He was speaking at the launch of the State of the Ghanaian Economy report and review of the third quarter economic performance.
If we are to scrap this, some agree, levy, COVID-19, but betting tax, I disagree. People are making money from betting. Why shouldn't we tax them? The taxation is also used to correct behavior. Are we going to promote young people who take betting as their profession? Why do we tax tobacco? We tax tobacco, we tax alcohol highly because we want to correct certain behavior, certain habits. So why shouldn't we tax betting? I don't agree with the saying that we should scrap betting tax. Perhaps the argument is how much you stake shouldn't be taxed, but whatever value, whatever extra you earn has to be taxed. So what is the alternative? If we are to scrap them, we need to think about the alternatives. Because we have an IMF program. If we just get up and say we are scrapping this, the shortfall, how do we account for that? Are we going to derail the IMF program? Is that what we want to do?
Professor Peter Cortes is a director at the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research. Still on the economy, private business operators have expressed concerns that despite some improvement recorded in the country's macroeconomic indicators, it has not reflected in the ease of doing business and reduced the cost of production. Government has been able to conclude its debt restructuring exercise with good projection by the IMF pegged at 4%. However, the chief executive of the Private Enterprise Federation, Anose Bonsu, complains that businesses are unable to recover from their cost despite the report of improved macro figures.
Not signals as fast enough for us to be able to recover the way we want to recover. Because you want to see that I invested my money and I want the returns. It's not like you go home, you come back and they're still sitting down and waiting and looking at you. We want to see where there's action. It's not like you jump up the open market rate is this, open market rate is that. We have to find a way to make the private sector cost of doing business lowered in the sense that we in the arena, we can do business. It's not because the central bank dictates and we have not much of a choice. Because the average funding coming from within is limited. So to bypass the banking system and all, what else do you have? You don't have a portfolio of investment companies that floating shares and all that you can put your money in and say, disregard these guys, let them go, we can have alternate sources of doing business. No, we don't.
Nanose Bonsu is the Chief Executive Officer of the Private Enterprise Federation. Now, on some energy-related stories, more stakeholders have described the decision by the National Petroleum Authority to import petroleum product from Dangote Refinery in Nigeria as a prudent move. The Chief Executive of the National Petroleum Authority, Dr. Mustafa Abdul Hamid, announced the decision, hoping it will save the country over $400 million. Commenting on this issue, energy strategist Dr. Yusuf Suleimana said government must put in place in measures to actualize the plan.
We are even within the same sub-region within the West Africa, so it will be much more competitive price-wise to import from Dangote if we need to do so. If we need to swap that with what we import from Europe. I know it might be difficult because of the tie that our current importers have with the existing business relationship with players in Rotterdam and the rest. But of course, a businessman should be able to change his mind. I mean, we cannot stick to a particular player probably forever. No, we can't do that, especially when this is going to guarantee us fuel security, what's going to guarantee us cost competitiveness in terms of the London cost of the product. We need to do that. And I will say again, we don't need to wait till Dangote ramp up to full capacity. If it's possible to do that now, we need to do that until we sort our own internal capability, our refining capability out, where we don't even need to import from our neighbors. That is where we have to gravitate towards, and we are capable of doing so if we set our minds on that.
And that was energy strategist Dr. Yusuf Suleiman there. Next, Jumia Ghana has announced plans to expand its operations in the country's e-commerce space. This is after it opened an ultra-modern warehouse in Tema to enhance its delivery and distribution services ahead of the festive season in December. Temidayo Ojo is the chief executive of Jumia Ghana.
We've been experiencing significant growth in the Ghana market, and it just made sense as the next step to do was to invest for the future. So this warehouse, which is a 6,000 square meter ultra-modern new facility in Tema, is supposed to help us meet the demands of the demands of growing e-commerce in Ghana for the next 5 to 10 years. The good thing is that we are in a logistics park where we can have modular capacity. So our ambition is that we double this capacity in the next 2 to 3 years. And going by the growth that we are seeing in Ghana today, we believe that would happen.
Temidayo Ojo is the chief executive of Jumia Ghana. And that's all for business on News Night with me, James Ishen Evans.
James, thank you very much. Are you looking forward to the NSMQ grand finale?
I'm definitely looking forward to that. Unfortunately, my school.
Which school is that?
St. John's School.
Oh, goodness me. Were you even in the contest?
Oh, yes.
You
went
were?
to the quarterfinal.
Oh, quarterfinals.
And lost to Accra. No, we lost to Tema near I, actually.
You did better than St. Thomas Akua.
Exactly. I know you were waiting to say that. And what about Ola girls? What happens to them?
Who's talking about Ola girls?
Well, you're talking about
St.
Thomas Akua. You want to change the subject. You're going to another man who himself isn't sure
Those
about...
sports people, they are cheats. What they did to you
yeah, exactly. You know,
on Saturday.
They like to win when they haven't really...
Have you reviewed the video?
Yeah, we have reviewed the video. He came second. He came
there was a 4-star.
Oh, you mean it was a 4-star?
Yes. The gun didn't go and
the guy just sped off.
That's your protest.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you think you can beat Evans Mensah?
Oh, we reorganize it. No problem. That's your protest. Okay.
Just organize one just for myself and
yeah,
him.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Which school did you go though?
Apam Senior High School.
Apam.
Yeah.
Apam. There, you mean the seamstresses and the tailors?
Yeah, man.
Hey.
Apam.
No. Your mum pam.
Pam.
My school was the one that edged out at Dissadel. We also left in the quarterfinals.
That's your claim to fame.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Anyway, Evans, just a little update in the WAFU B Under-20 Championship. The final is set for tomorrow, Wednesday. It's happening in Togo, Lome. And the Black Satellites, that's Ghana, Under-20 team, through to the finals. And they topped their group after drawing twice against Togo and Benin, and accounted for Niger, where they won 2-0 before they rallied from behind to beat Cote d'Ivoire 2-1 in the semi-final match and ensure that they made it to the final. But in the final, they're facing Ghana's long-time rivals, talking about Nigeria. So Ghana Under-20 team versus Nigeria Under-20 team in the finals of the WAFU B Under-20 Championship that will be taking place in Togo. Now, ahead of that game, the head coach of the side, Desmond Afei, has been speaking and is relishing the opportunity to give one to our Nigerian brothers.
It's going to be a tough game because we have massive respect for them. Very good team also. So I think on the day we have to be at our absolute 100 to be able to achieve something. Yes, we just have to be ready, and no matter what happens on the day, we have to make sure, like I said before, we are the best team. For us, it's where we are now as a nation. We know that we are having an incredible project from the FA, and we believe that we have one of the strongest teams in the tournament. We just have to prove it. We have to show that we are the best. I think our biggest strength is the whole collective of the team. We have an incredible bench, even the players that don't play, and they are fighting every day to get into the squad, and they want to prove something. So for us, once again, the competition is very healthy. Even Jerry Efrey is maybe one of our best players, but in the end, we have some exceptional players on the bench that can come and make a difference, and that's our strength as a team.
That's Desmond Afei, head of the game against Nigeria tomorrow in Togo. Evans, that's it, but Ruben Amorim is the man that Manchester United want to replace. Eric Ten Hag, Sporting have confirmed that Man United have made contact with them, both sure, latest by Friday, you'll have a new coach.
He'll be in place when we play Chelsea over the weekend. And we're going to have a new manager bounce. And we're going to bounce Chelsea out of the pitch.
And all is set for the grand finale of the most sought after high school competition, not just in Ghana, but the whole of Africa, and I dare say the world. I'm talking about the National Science and Maths Quiz, NSMQ. Well, the big question tonight is which school becomes the 2024 champion? Who breaks the tie tomorrow, since St. Augustine's College and Infantipim School have both won the title twice? Or is it time to make way for Keta Senior High Technical School, Jolali, to taste victory for the very first time?
I'm rooting for the underdogs there. And we'll take you live to the Central Regional Capital, Cape Coast, to join the team on the ground shortly. But first, during the grand finale tomorrow, there will be 2 females on stage. One will be the quiz mistress, of course, and the second female will be Perpetual Sefako Gakpeto. And there is this Gakpeto phenomenon we need to explain. Tonight we focus on the only remaining female contestant in this year's NSMQ. She's not only aiming to make history as the one female finalist, but also to help Ketasco clinch his first ever NSMQ trophy. My colleague Jacqueline and Suma Yebo has more.
It's all about everything housing.
Yadi, another girl, Abba. This one, she's beyond Laminio. She's called Gakpeto.
The crowd can't help but cheer for Ketasco's fierce contestant, Gakpeto Perpetual Sefako, who has been a standout since the quarterfinals, where she helped eliminate 2-time champions at Chimota School in a thrilling performance. Now, as the only female finalist, she's breaking ground, and her resolve is inspiring. In a candid conversation, Perpetual shared that she draws strength from her mentors and also from Francisca Lamini, the first female to make it to the finale for Ketasco.
Drawing inspiration from her and drawing inspiration from my teachers and keep pushing. But it's not pressure. Yeah, being given the resources, the procedures to follow, then you get it done. So that's just it.
Have you spoken to Francisca?
Yes, I have.
And she's giving you some tidbits and all that.
Just normal things.
With her focus and calm demeanor, Perpetual has turned what could be seen as pressure into pure determination, as she's built a strong bond with her male teammates, and together they're driven by one goal: making history.
When you stay with boys for so long, it becomes something like mutual induction. So you become a boy, so you blend in.
Yeah.
So it's not a gender something.
The grand finale fast approaching, Gakpeto is all set to prove that Ketasco is not just a contender, but a school of champions.
We want to be known for being the first people to bring the trophy to our school.
The only girl standing is ready to take her final bow, hoping it will be on the winner's podium. For Joy News, I'm Jacqueline Ansma Yaboa.
Let's go live to Central Regional Capital, Cape Coast. Jacqueline and Sumayabo and the team are on standby. Jacqueline, let's talk about morale in the 3 camps. How does it look like? Hello, Jackie. Well, you see, morale doesn't want to come, but all is set for tomorrow. But what is data saying? You know, every year we bring you data, what it is saying, and a lead data and research analyst here joining us, Isaac Kofi J, joins me in studio. Kofi, what's data saying? Masa, data must be good. What is it saying?
Emefa, in fact, there's an NSMQ theory that has never failed since 2017.
Never failed, right?
And the theory is that the school that has the highest, average score from the 1-8 to the semifinals always goes ahead to win the contest. And this started
which school is this time?
We'll be revealing the numbers tomorrow. But what we are saying is that the data actually looks like it's in favor of St. Augustine's College, but momentum is actually on the side of Infantipim School. But you cannot rule out Keta Senior High School.
Okay. Well, that's the situation. Evans, we don't have a horse in the race, but of course, we know who we are rooting for. But let's check on the contestants and how ready they are for tomorrow's showdown. And Jackie joins us on the line. Jackie, we're asking about the morale in camp. You've been to all 3 camps. What are they telling you?
Well, Emefa, I would say that I'm personally excited ahead of tomorrow because every camp I go to is very optimistic of a win. I first went to Infantry School. They are hoping to clinch their set. So it's same for Augustus. You know, the morale there is very high. And these two schools are CP rivals. They've been rivals since time immemorial. So it's still there. You know, these two schools want to clinch their set. But then Keta SHTS, you know, most of their fans are not in yet. But even the ones here, I mean, the morale is on top of the roof. So I'm hoping for something bigger tomorrow.
Well, that's Jacqueline and Sumaya Boa bringing us all the action of this year's National Science and Maths Quiz, and we are ready for action tomorrow. And guess what is happening tomorrow? Me, I'm ready to own a home, a house, everything. And we are getting ready for that. I'll go through the sponsors for the National Science and Maths Quiz. Then we get ready for the Joy News EcoBank Habitat Fair starting tomorrow. And we know that the NSMQ is produced by Primetime Limited and sponsored by the Ghana Education Service in partnership with GOL PLC and supported by Pepsodent, DuPay, Prudential Life Insurance Ghana, and Bettermalt. Also, the broadcast of the NSMQ on Joy News is supported by NASCO, Vitamilk, Virtual Security Africa, Ace Medical Insurance, Build Financial Technologies, DBS Roofing, Syntex Tanks, Family Health Medical College, Chopbox Technologies, and Action Secondary Technical, DPS Pipes, Waka Now, and Coronation Insurance. And all the action also is at the Joy News EcoBank Habitat Fair tomorrow at the Accra International Conference Center. And Evans has promised to buy me a house, so we're all going there.
Easy does it. Does it. And I'm looking forward to the happy hour.
Avoid the rush hour
for the happy hour.
Yes.
And also the lawyers will be on hand to give you advice and to resolve all your aching, challenges with land that you've acquired and you can't really figure out what has happened because somebody came and they demolished. Come to the Habitat Fair tomorrow because we have lawyers on hand to give you some advice and legal, clinic. It's a legal clinic there that you can benefit from. Listen, what's the theme for this though? You make a home out of a house.
Yes.
That's the key thing for us to be focusing on. And guess who's joining us? You have a nice, beautiful home here. Arubia.
You are buying for Emefa and I.
That's a very interesting one indeed. I thought you have Messi small. MFS, taste alone is luxury.
I just want a small 2-bedroom house, very small. I don't want any. Yeah,
you
just
also
2 bedrooms.
Also want 2 bedrooms.
2 bedrooms, small.
You don't want to change my home.
No.
What are we talking about tonight on the Geeks?
We want to continue our conversation on the online identity theft. We saw how people are really participating and the need for us to just educate our listeners and viewers. So as it's still the month of October, we will be wrapping up with the Cybersecurity Awareness Month, talking about the online identity theft.
You want to stay for the Geeks? We're out of here. We're looking forward to the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair and, of course, the finals of the National Science and Maths Quiz. I am Emefa Apawu.
And my name is Mensah.